Oh no. They're not staying in. What an absolute fuck. Alright, we're back here for another day. But first things first, we gotta get this bench clean. So let's get it done. Alright, and there it is. Got it all cleaned up and ready to work. Got some customer bike in here. I got some done on this bike, but right now we're still kind of in limbo mode on this bike. I know I haven't really shown much of it since I put the wheel and plastics and stuff on, but I just did that real quick so that I could get an overview of make sure everything was gonna look good, and man, does it look good. Look how new this bike looks. Every single piece of it looks new, minus that stupid swing arm. But yeah, had some used MX-34s laying back there. Went ahead and mounted those up. Front tires got one as well. And yeah, clean the airbox up the rest of the way. New filter, new fender. This fender's looking a little crooked, so we're gonna have to do some stuff about that. New Pro Circuit 304. Man, she looks so good. I cannot wait to rip this thing. I gotta finish up the brakes and stuff on it so that we can start getting calipers and stuff back on it. And then I'm just waiting on the triple clamps to come back from powder coat, and brand new all balls bearings for the head stem, and a brand new plastic bolt kit, which I've been using. And she'll be ready to rock and roll. Dude, I cannot wait. Still got some more perks and stuff over here that we gotta throw on. I need to start rebuilding these. That'll probably be the first thing I do when I get back to working on that. I'm gonna finish up this bike for today. And if there's enough time, I'm gonna try to jump on the CR and do a little bit to it today. So maybe the brakes will be the first thing that we do on that. Oh, I just got a package. Oh, we got some LA sleeve stuff. All right, let's open it up. Okay, here's the breakdown of what I paid. Labor was $170. The sleeve kit was $110. Piston honing was $102. Top end gasket kit was $28. Wrist pin bearing was $12.50. And expedited return, $90. This was so that I could have it done in 2 weeks. For a total of $557.04, which honestly is not bad. If you guys are looking to have a sleeve done, hit up LA Sleeves because they will knock it out of the park. So now let's see what's in the box. Oh yeah, look at that. We're gonna get a closer look at it here in just a minute. Piston, got a Pro X piston kit, wrist pin bearing, it's all in there. And we got a gasket kit. Oh no. Break-in procedures, LA Sleeves. As you can see, they port matched everything. I got this new sleeve in here. You can tell that it's a sleeve because it's got this darker piece pressed into it. They chamfered all the port windows, and man, this thing looks amazing. I'm gonna have to clean up like these holes and the coolant passages, and probably gonna have to go down in here and clean up more of this exhaust port a little bit and make it a little bit cleaner. But for the most part, this cylinder looks freaking awesome. Nice cross hatching. I'm super stoked. That stuff right here is kind of self-explanatory. Piston and top end gasket kit and all the other stuff. So, oh, she's ready to go back together. I'm so excited. I hope you guys are as excited as I am, because I am ready. I fully intended on videotaping all of this and taking this engine apart. I just didn't do it. I just come in here and just got straight to work today. And I pulled this engine apart. The top end of this engine was already off, and we already knew that the engine was locked up. We got down to the bottom end and we went ahead and split the cases open. And I mean, as you can see, everything in here looks good. For the most part, I mean, it's a little bit dirty because the motor's been sitting, but then we come over here and we got a 2-piece connecting rod for your piston. Yep, so that's not how that's supposed to be. With this nice heated crank, and this is destroyed, as well as it took out all this. So yeah, all this stuff come out of the bottom end, and there's still quite a bit left down in there. Yeah, it destroyed it. But the transmission's good. This case half's good. And I think that calling it a day, we're not gonna put this motor back together, because honestly, for what it is and what parts cost to fix this problem, it's not even worth it. I'm gonna finish pulling this transmission out of here and get it laid out on the bench with the rest of the stuff, and then I'll finish getting pictures of the transmission, because I got pictures of all the rest of this stuff, and then all these parts are gonna be for sale. It's all for sale. We're gonna put it up on eBay, I think. Maybe I'll create an eBay store, and all of it's gonna be for sale. I'm gonna finish getting this stuff all cleaned up, and then we get to start working on this thing again. The first thing I'm gonna do when I'm done with all the quad stuff up there, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this caliper off, and we're gonna rebuild that one. And then I already got the other one laying on the floor. We're just gonna pull it apart before it even goes on the bike and do that. Then we'll go ahead and put in bearings, and then we can put in our triple trees and get it all wrapped up and put the front end back on it. And then after that, we'll go ahead and we'll put the top end back on it. We got that sitting right there too. All right, let's get it. I'm gonna get this stuff cleaned up, and I'll come back to you guys when we're ready to work on the Honda. All right, we're back here on this build. I went ahead and tore that YFZ engine down. I went ahead and put it away so that we could start working on this bike and start trying to get it wrapped up so that this build can be done. We can get some time on it and make sure that there's not gonna be any problems. And then, you know, I don't know, get rid of it. So, since it's been like kind of monotonous because I had to clean up triple clamps and the covers and stuff that got powder coated, I got the cylinder back, and I got all the rest of the parts laying here. Now we just need to start putting them back on the bike. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the races inside this frame, and then we can get some triple clamp action going on and get some forks and stuff on it, maybe a front wheel, and then we can start rebuilding brakes and stuff. Okay, so this is pretty much everything you should need. You need some grease, you need these parts. I already showed you the part numbers. I'm gonna need a hammer, and I'm going to use a torch. First thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and, this one's got a broken tab on this side, but I'm going to go ahead and wiggle it off the other two supports, bend this up out of the way so that I can let that lay down there. Then we're going to take our torch and just heat this up. I've already cleaned this whole bearing race out, and it's all clean and good. So I mean, you don't have to get this thing like scalding hot, but you do need to warm it up, because it definitely does increase in size. Put this in here. The only other thing I may have to grab that I didn't show you, yeah, look at that, that thing fell right down in there. Hopefully that's not an indication of how loose this valve race is. Try the bottom one. Oh no. They're not staying in. What in the absolute fuck? Okay. Well, I guess maybe we're not gonna do this today. I guess I need to look at the triple clamps to see if these bearings fit the triple clamp, because they may have sent me the wrong one. Let me look. Okay, so I ordered these off of eBay, and I mean, tell me you can't clearly see 99 to 04. This bearing doesn't even fit down past the threads. Not even down past the threads. So, can't get the triple clamps or the front end on now. What the hell? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board on that. I guess I'm just gonna rebuild brakes for today then. I mean, that's on the list, because now that I can't do head stem bearings, I can't do triple clamps, I can't do fork, can't install the bars. So next would be rebuilding the brake calipers. I guess I'm gonna clean up my mess and we'll get set up to do brake calipers. Okay, so I couldn't just leave it alone. I had to figure out why these didn't fit. Well, I figured it out. So when I ordered these, it says right here, 9904 CR250R or CR250. That was the problem. And even in the description, it lists CR250, 1999 to 2004 CR250. So I ordered them because they were $41. They were half the price. But then just when I was just over there looking, I realized that I didn't put the vehicle in. Doesn't fit this item. So So it was my fault. I ordered the wrong bearings. I had to end up ordering the right bearings, which came for a 92 to 2007 CR250R. So I got those ordered. They'll be in a few days, I guess. And then we'll put those in so we can put the triple clamps on it finally and be done with the front end. That has taken far too long. It should have been done like 2 weeks ago, but it'll be done when it's done, I guess. I know what's wrong with it. Ain't got no gas in it. Now I guess let's move on to brakes. Okay, so I'm gonna need to pull this caliper off of here because we're gonna drain all the fluids out of this stuff anyway and put new fluid in all of it. Okay, I am back to do the job. Okay, I moved you out the way so I can do the job. Knock that right off there. Just gonna let that drip right into that pan because it's all gonna come out anyway. Cleaned up around where this bolt hole is, and we'll take her over to the table and start rebuilding it. This is something that I know I might get a little bit of flack for, but I got this to come out just far enough by, I looked down in this hole right here where the banjo bolt goes, and you could see the back of this. So I just took a screwdriver and just lightly, ever so lightly, just pried on it and got it out a little bit, and then I grabbed my pliers right here in this hole, and I just slowly pulled it out without letting these things slip. And the reason I say I might get some flack for that is because metal on metal tends to mess it up, and if this surface is messed up, then that means that the seal won't work properly inside here, which means that your brakes will fail. It is a big no-no. However, if you're gonna do something wrong, do it the most right way that you can wrong. Here's the kit you get with it. And I got some brand new brake pads. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, reach right down in here with my little flat blade screwdriver. Be careful you don't mess up any of these sealing surfaces. You gotta be really gentle with this stuff. You can reach down in there and get your fat washer. And there's a gap in there, and then there's a thinner washer. Again, I can't stress to you how important it is to make sure that you do not break the seals. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and put it in some Scotch Brite real quick. And look how much better that looks already with just that little bit of attention. I'm gonna wipe this stuff off around here so that it doesn't get down in our seal. We're gonna blow this out with some compressed air. I'm gonna take this. So we got this all cleaned up. Now we need to start putting our rubber seals back in there. I like to put just a little bit of grease on these, make sure that they're nice and lubed up before they go in there. That way it keeps any fluid in place, and make sure that the piston slides in and out the way that it's supposed to and not get all bound up. I just put it in there past the seal, and then I'm pulling it up. There we go, there's that one. Just a little bit of grease for this other one. Rub it on there. Same thing. There it goes. There, that went back in place, right where it was supposed to. Now, we take this, just a little bit of grease, rub it right around here, and send her home. Make sure she goes in there nice and straight. Look at that. Perfecto. Wipe off the extra grease on the outside, and we got a brand new caliper. And as you can see on this one, somebody let this rubber bushing go bad. My solution right now is just going to be to file it flush with the rest, as well as doing this. There we go. Take this thing, grease it up, and she's gonna go right back into this hole. How do you go back in there? I'm gonna fold you up, stick you back through this side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I wadded it up and pushed it down into that hole. Pop it up this side. There we go. All right, I'm gonna slide this down on here. just like that, just like that. There we go. Now I'm gonna take these bleeder and this banjo bolt and clean them up real quick, some Scotch-Brite. So there's that, and then there's that. Dry these off right quick. Stick our bleeder back down in here. Stack both of our washers on here. Attach them back to this. That way we know where it's all at. And then that's pretty much ready to, actually here, I messed a piece. Put this down on here, just like that. There we go. We're gonna put some grease down on the side of this too before we install this pin. Grease is a good thing because it keeps the water out. Wipe off the excess on that. This is gonna go right on here like this. There we go. That way it can slide in and out like that. I think that I have this seal on backwards because I think that it's supposed to catch. I did. I had that seal on there backwards. See, this is why you always double check everything. Let's check this out. When you put this in here, I believe that this seal is supposed to fit inside of there. And that looks better. All right. Now I need to go get the little metal pieces that go in the brake hangers, and then I can put the front or the rear pads in. Okay, those are back on there. That's ready to go back on the bike and be bled out. So we'll go ahead and put this in the finished pile. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this front caliper. I really was hoping with the other one that I could do the air method. Let's see if we can do it this time. Well, that definitely worked. See, blew some air in it and pushed the pistons out. I'll pop the screwdriver out of here. And again, I know this is controversial, but as long as you don't let your pliers slip, you just want to go slow and easy. See how easy that was? And look, I'll show you right here. Look, that's where I grabbed onto it. There's no marks. Grab onto this one. Slow and easy. There we go. Look, no marks. Okay, these are gonna get the same treatment. Run them through the parts washer, get all the seals out of them, and I'm gonna go ahead and do these off camera, that way I can just get it done. So I already showed you guys the front one, and this is exactly the same way. It's just got 2 more pistons in it. So I'll catch you guys when I get this one all wrapped up and get ready to start putting them back onto the bike so that we can start bleeding them. So one thing I thought of that I did want to mention here is the fact that these pistons that are in this front caliper, they are coated. That's why they're brown and not shiny like that rear one. And if you get a coated surface like this, you can run Scotch-Brite on it, but 9 times out of 10, the coating is on there because the coating keeps the dirt and stuff from building up on it. You see how shiny that thing gets? So just wanted to let that be known that you shouldn't have to, nor should you really run Scotch-Brite over something like this that's coated. I mean, you can, but buyer beware. Just wanted to let you guys know that. I'm gonna finish this up and we can get bleeding on them. Well, actually, we're not gonna be able to bleed them because I need a front wheel, but we can get them at least connected back to the master cylinders. Get it. All right, and just like that, we got 2 pretty much brand new calipers, all new seals, new pads, ready to go back on the bike and actually stop the thing and make sure that it's safe. So it turned out pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that front cable and try to get all of the fluid out of it, and same thing with the rear, and just get all the old fluid out of it. That way when we get to put this back together and bleed these brakes and all that stuff, that all the fluid and stuff brand new and it's nice and clean. So I went ahead and got this all cleaned up and ready to be attached back to the brake caliper. And then I got this one, and check this out. Look how bad that is in there. So we're gonna get all that cleaned out too, and then we can reattach them to the calipers and then go back on the bike and we'll be able to stop again. Not that we couldn't before, because we haven't even really ridden this bike yet. Gotta get those cleaned up and we'll get to the next part, I guess. So I went ahead and I put the rear caliper on the bike and I hooked it up to its cable to the master cylinder. I put fluid in it, and the rod that goes inside here stuck all the way in, and it was only coming in or coming out about 1/4 of an inch, and it wouldn't suck any fluid down into the master cylinder. So after sitting here for about an hour and a half messing with this thing, trying to get this, what do you call that, a rod piston? Anyway, after about an hour and a half of sitting here trying to get this out of this hole, I finally got it out, and I think that that's why. As you can see, the seals are both totally trashed. The front one looks okay. The front one looks okay, but they're both gonna get it replaced regardless because they're already apart, and that's a cheap fix. And the brakes will be 10,000 times better than they would be just being cleaned up and serviced. So I guess that's where we're gonna leave the brakes for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and order the parts that I need to fix these, and then maybe the brakes can get on there. I'm gonna add that to my list of things to do now, and yeah, I'll get them ordered. This sucks. This is the second set of parts today that this has been the problem on. Man. So we're still waiting on steering stem bearings for this bike, as well as the master cylinder rebuild kits. And then we can get going on the rest of this stuff. I really just didn't want to start on the cylinder and stuff on this yet until I got all the brake stuff figured out. So that's on its way to getting figured out. And then since I was waiting on parts for this, I decided to go ahead and start tearing into this because one of the forks was leaking, and I noticed that it wasn't accepting air anymore. You would put air in it and it would just slowly leak off. I went ahead and ordered fork seals for this and oil and all the stuff I needed to do those, as well as a clutch cable because the clutch cable was all the way out of adjustment on it. So I already put the clutch cable on there, and then I got to these forks, and as you can see, they are two totally different lengths. So if you pull this one out, it sucks itself back in. So there's something wrong inside that fork. I don't know if it's something wrong with who built them, and I don't know if it's something wrong that like there's actually failed parts. I'm not sure yet. Either way, we're gonna figure it out. But that being collapsed like that definitely made it a little more challenging to get the front wheel off of it. But I guess this is a good time to bring this up too real quick before we sign off here. I do use ChatGPT a lot for a lot of answers and stuff. And today I was using it, you know, talking to it, and that's not my only source. I use tons of other sources. But on this specific topic on the forks, I was asking it questions. It pretty much told me that the internet was a liar, telling me that these forks were KYB PSF forks. It said that Honda was partners with Showa, and they had the twin chamber design, blah, 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 blah. And you can see right here where I was talking to it, it said, yeah, this is where it gets confusing, but there is a clean explanation. What you're seeing in that Rocky Mountain video is basically a cross-platform fork swap situation, not stock equipment. So why does the video say 2014 CRF450R? The forks swapped onto that bike same year as yours, triple clamps. They're just referencing the bike they were mounted on. So anyway, fast forward a little bit, and I said, no, he specifically said it was for a 13 to 14 Honda, and they came with the KYB PSF 1s and then 2 before going to the twin chamber design in 2017. Chat says, yeah, I'm gonna stop you there because that statement in that video is just flat out wrong for Hondas. What Hondas actually run 13 to 14 Showa 48mm twin chamber spring forks. Who did use KYB? Kawasaki and RMZ. Okay, so then I went to Google and I found the screenshot, and it tells me right here what forks came on the 2014 CRF450R. The 48mm KYB PSF 1s, which is the ones that it's saying did not come on this bike and were a swap for this bike. Who's right? Google and AI are not right. That snippet, wrong. The video claiming Honda used KYB PSF, wrong. What matches actual Honda spec? Your physical forks, you've got a swap setup. Even looking at the forms for sale, my individual make, year, and model is coming up with the KYB PSF. Why would everywhere else be saying those forks are the forks from my bike except for you? Fair question, and I get why it looks like this, that I'm the odd one out. In this case, the internet is actually right. I needed to correct what I said earlier. But before this, it was vehemently dying on the hill that they were Showa forks that came factory on my 450. So just keep that in mind when you're dealing with ChatGPT or Google AI or whatever it is. It doesn't always tell you exactly what it is that you actually have, because sometimes it's just wrong. It's just flat out wrong. And until you can prove it wrong, it's not going to tell you that it's wrong. So keep that in mind moving forward, to just cross-reference, because you can always look at Google, you can always look on old forums and stuff on the internet, you can always look at old YouTube videos or just anything that anybody else has posted in the past with similar issues, because 90% of the time, there's going to be somebody online that's had the same exact issue as you, and you can cross-reference that or their information with whatever it was that fixed their problem back to what your AI or whatever is telling you to make sure that you're right. Because AI is a valuable tool, and it does give you some very valuable information and can teach you things if you know how to use it and can have enough discernment to understand when it's lying or just doesn't know the information that you're asking it when it acts like it does. So just keep that stuff in mind when you guys are using ChatGPT to build these bikes and learn things, like whether it be electrical voltages or whatever it is that you're trying to learn. Just keep that in mind. So Alright, so if this is the kind of content that you guys enjoy, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can stay tuned for all the future builds or whatever it is that we got going on this channel. Hit that like button because it helps us out more than you could possibly fathom. And if you guys would like to support us even further, head on over to braapboyz.com and pick you up some cool merch. And since you made it all the way to the end of this video, when you guys hit checkout on braapboyz.com, make sure that you type in homies get 15 at checkout and get 15% off your entire order. That's limit 1 per customer. And as of right now, there's no expiration date on that code. So make sure you hit homies get 15 on checkout to get 15% off your entire order. So I'll catch you guys back here next Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern on the Braap Boyz YouTube channel. Later.